Hey, this is another episode of our Leadership Power Paradigms episodes. Again, this is Bill Thomas, and welcome to all as we wait for the magical clock to tick down to the beginning of our episode. This should run about 14 minutes as promised. And so I'm going to begin at this very moment. Hello, this is Bill Thomas, and we are here for the beginning of another Leadership Power Paradigms episode. In this 14-minute episode, we will take a tour of the energy power stations employed and used by many legendary and highly effective leaders. We'll discover that you too can make the principles, paradigms, processes, and practical applications found in these generating systems work for your own desirable performance improvements. Robert Fritz observes that structure determines performance, and I always tell my clients that leadership is a structured set of activities which must always be viewed as a system consisting of a minimum of 4 discrete energy events. And I believe we need to understand what makes a structure and what are the nature of these 4 energy events and how do leaders tap into and apply or work with those energy events. As Buckminster Fuller or Bucky Fuller explains, a structure is simply a self-stabilizing energy event complex, which is composed of a system of dynamically stabilized, self-interfering, and thus self-localizing and recentering, inherently regenerative constellar association of a minimum set of 4 energy events. Since we are talking about the challenges of cognitive leadership, Bucky's insights show us how our thoughts, reasoning, assumptions, decisions, or judgments can be processed, organized, or coordinated through cognitive structures, models, or edifices. Cognitive scientists like to describe the patterns we follow to make our decisions, choices, and sort out our preferences as tapping into a structural process called cognitive scaffolding. In their opinion, we tend to arrange our thoughts, emotions, judgments, and goals as a building which is constantly undergoing construction, says author Ray Herbert in his latest book entitled On Second Thought, Outsmarting Your Mind's Hardwired Habits. Social Peter Drucker applied the lessons of scientific historian Thomas Kuhn's structure of scientific revolutions and identified that our current model for technology is now based upon our understanding of the biological processes occurring within an organism or an ecological niche, and that those biologic processes are not organized around electrical, mechanical, magnetic, atomic, or other forms of physical energies, but those biological processes are information-based energies. What your typical HR-led leadership or management development course will never tell you is this. Leadership and management and economics and governance and mass communications and many other social sciences use scientific principles, and thus they are socially based technologies, and that every physical or social technology uses and operates through its own techniques, structural constructs, disciplines, and systems to achieve its desired results, whether it is to manage or publish messages or evaluate the health of an economy, so that the ecological niches that leaders like you and I operate in can be social activities. For example, this webinar that you and I are involved with at the moment of time is or a conversation with your boss or an employee are a social activity. While these social ecological niches can be in industry like manufacturing, retail food services, or network service providers, or an ecological niche can also be a profession like the legal, medical, accountancy, or academics. And finally, there are social ecosystems, what we call an organization or a governmental or a real estate sales agency, a corporation, a major sales account, or an IT project team are also social ecosystems. There are four enduring principles of highly effective leadership. In my more than 40 years of practicing leadership, along with 25,000 plus hours of teaching and studying leaders, I have found that these four general energy events tend to prove Bucky Fuller's definitions of a dynamically sound stabilizing structure for leadership successes in most circumstances and many situations. For instance, leadership that practices transformational, situational, or spiritual leadership always includes some rigorous philosophy. Also, leadership that guides enterprises or entities and includes an empathic strategic intention always has a sense of defined direction. And leadership that operates on people, processes, or products with and includes purpose always includes purposeful activities, and that leadership that continues with injections or installments of energy always is sustainable. Now, there are four types of leadership practices, generally speaking, producing an appearance of responsibility, of authority, of role, and style, which every leader needs to use in their social activities or engagements with other people and individuals. They have to have knowledge or information about the health and welfare of their social ecosystems and organizations, and leaders use those four types of practices to follow the rules and demands of their social ecological niches, which are their marketplaces, or it could be their communities or industries and professions. With the four domains of human capital, developing the wealth of every enterprise through its attributes, capital assets, resources, and impacts is much easier. Your leadership power, ability, strengths, and insights have to work with, and work for something called human capital. And every form of capital, whether it is financial, physical, like equipment, or a system, or human capital, always has certain describable attributes, resource definitions, asset assignments, and types of impacts that capital makes on some greater social entity. For example, for financial capital, it could be a corporation or an equity marketplace like a stock exchange. And for human capital, it could be for an ecosystem like a project team, a department, a division, a community, or an organization, and for an ecological niche like a profession, industry, or regional alliance of nation states. There are four developmental techniques. Leadership involves the cultivation, nurturing, development, and enrichment of human capital through the four energy events of training, consulting, coaching, and planning. Generally, leadership means identifying, pursuing, and achieving these four missionary or mandated objectives of making inroads towards solving problems or overcoming challenges, shaping innovations throughout your organization, producing continuous improvements, and generating increases in profits and or goodwill. Please notice that all four of those missions on the left side of this slide are the result of a collection of the four distinctive energy events described on the right side. There are four power exercises where leaders are optimizing the performances of the enterprise using focus channeling, amplifying, magnifying, and enhancing strategies. When you think about it, these information rich, information directing, and information driven strategies, indeed all forms of strategies, are the life sustaining, life regenerating, and life giving forces that your social activities, your social ecological niches, and your social ecosystems need to survive and thrive. There are four creativity imperatives. Leadership means complying with the energizing or empowering information based imperatives of creativity via its visionary images, its passionate decisions, its breakthrough solutions, and its developmental strategies. For instance, how could your team or you embrace the dictates of operational agility, strategic alignment and execution, disciplined experimentation, and broadening your cadre of intelligent systems thinking and spiritual leaders? There are four power rationalizations, employing leadership power to effect a change on an ideal which is physical or an action on, intellectual or an action with, emotional and spiritual, which is an action for, or developmental, which is an action towards. Leaders have to take direct action because every challenge, problem, trouble, difficulty, or opportunity you encounter as a leader provides you with a compelling rationale for and requires that you take action on something, that you act with some idea, that you act for some worthwhile or worthy ideal, and that you act towards some form of progress or advancement. In your every leadership thought, action, and belief, you must be entrepreneurial in your approach, as if you are involved in a startup that faces uncertainty with a passionate desire to serve and a willingness to test or experiment at all times. That you are always transformational in your intentions and dedication to develop everything and everyone, that you make clear distinctions and meaningful changes in your services and products. You are philosophically authentic and principled in nature, and that you are a complete and competent professional in your methods, your discipline, and your pursuit of new knowledge. There are four power positions where leadership means putting yourself in the position of learning, committing, purposing, and trusting yourself to the efforts required for transforming your human capital into creative producers of wealth and growth. Jack Welch of GE used his position of ignorance to ask questions of and learn about the plans, the ideas, and intentions of his management teams and employees. And then Jack used their inputs to guide, direct, and lead them and the company to great successes. Leaders can use their actions to prove they are committed to their people, their vision, and their growth. Unlike Steve Jobs of Apple, who was totally purposeful in his daily work, leaders who have no purpose will soon discover that their people have no passion or inspiration. And finally, every leader has to operate from a position of trusting others to do the right thing. And those leaders who trust the morality, loyalty, and integrity of others will find that others will begin to trust that leader in return. Now, this ends today's lesson. And what you're looking at is the agenda, or part of the agenda, I should say, for our legendary leadership power tutorials and coaching monthly performance improvement support program. And this agenda gives you a very quick overview of what you will learn, practice, and master in this program. Plus, you'll participate in two unique 75 to 90-minute group coaching sessions every month. And you will have a total of 60 minutes every month of private one-on-one coaching and tutoring follow-up support with me each and every month, where you and I will share ideas, notes, diagrams, strategies, exercises, case studies, and more. Plus, I'll always mail you links to access, as well as I'll mail you your own CD or DVD, which will always be filled with ebooks and papers and reports, or video and or audio tutorials. Plus, you'll get free access to my 60-plus minute webinars and online classes every month. And in many ways, this custom-tailored multimedia blended learning program is better than getting a university-level PhD in leadership and practical management for less than a tenth of the cost of that kind of university program. So I want to encourage you to enroll yourself today, and I'll see you there. You just have to put in www.one-iam.com/LPP-legends. And I actually have something a little more convenient for you. So let me get that up for you. And while that's displaying on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see that with the little, what do you call it? The little image of the Imagination Age Leadership Program. This is one of the programs of that series of programs. You can click on the Enroll and Get Started Now button. And when you do, that'll open up a new tab or a new window in your browser, so you won't lose this page. And while you click on that, and you can listen to me, continue to listen to me, because I'm about to put up the bonuses for all of those who attend today's live session. And for those of you who see the replay, you may not see this, but if you don't, well, you'll know that the next time you might want to attend live as well. But I think you do see this. Let me see. And the first thing that I've put up is the 5 leadership uplifter tasks infographic, which is your free gift for today. And I think you'll find that this is one of those types of infographics that you want to print out, maybe on the largest piece of white paper, I would suggest, or a poster of some sort if you have that ability to put it on a poster. And then you can put it on a wall in your office, or you can put it on in a frame on your desk, and it'll help to guide you. So every day that you're working as a leader, you can ask yourself, hey, wait a second, I'm not really engaging my people. I'm not really empowering my people as much as I could. And this infographic is designed to give you 5 really beautiful, elegant little strategies to help you to do just that, to improve and increase the engagement of all of your team members, as well as it will help you to empower them. It'll help you to do a few more things, like encourage them and help them increase their creativity and tap into their creativity. So yeah, it's a nice little thing of suggested techniques and strategies and processes that you can use. And then the second bonus is the Words with Wisdom, the Rainbow Moment of Black Elk, 8-page PDF paper. The infographic is a PDF as well, so that's not a problem. And with the Words with Wisdom, you can read through that, some of the concepts that you heard today in today's webinar, as well as some of my past and even a few of my future webinars are some of those tips, some of the strategies, processes that I very briefly covered are covered with a little more depth. And of course, there are some important statements from other leadership experts and thought leaders, which I think you'll find not only educational, but useful as well. So enjoy both of those free gifts. I want to encourage you to go take your leadership performances to a higher level with our legendary leadership power tutorials and coaching program. And again, that's on the right hand side, so you can just click on that too. So I'm just looking. I don't see any questions, and I do not see any comments. And so I'm going to end today's episode of Leadership Power Paradigms. I hope you enjoyed it. I will also encourage those of you who see it on the replay to use the questions box on the right hand side of the screen, and you can type in any questions or comments that you might have, and they will be emailed to me, and it will give me an opportunity to email you back with my answers or some of my suggestions that that you might find helpful, as well as if you'd like to speak to me live. Just include your Skype ID if you're on Skype. Yeah, it would be your Skype ID. And if you're in the United States or Canada, you can include your phone number, your landline, or your mobile number if you'd like to speak with me as well. But you'll have to put that in the question box because I don't have that information about you. All I have is your email and probably your first name, maybe your full name, but yeah, you definitely want to include your Skype ID and or your phone number as well. If you're outside of North America, I'm probably not going to call you on the phone. But yeah, use Skype. Skype is free. So, use that and we can have a nice little conversation with that too. Okay, so thanks again for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you in our next episode, and I will wish you all of God's speed and say God bless each and every one of you and the best of success in all of your leadership endeavors and on your leadership adventure. This is Bill Thomas saying take care, thank you, and be well.